Good morning. My name is Willie Briscoe, and I serve in the Ministry Hope Leadership Academy, partner with North Coast Calvary Chapel. And I just want to thank you for choosing to spend a few moments of your morning going through a devotional with us. We are in 1 Timothy 1:5. I'll read the verse and then I'll come back and put a little context around it. This is Paul speaking to Timothy. He says, the goal of this command is love, which comes from a pure heart and a good conscience and a sincere faith. Paul is spending time writing to Timothy. He's telling Timothy that there's false teachers and people that are trying to steal the thunder from the gospel of the foundation they laid when they were together there in Ephesus. And so as Paul leaves to go to Macedonia, he places a charge on Timothy's life. And that charge is to, that command or that charge is to protect the church against false teachers and people that promote controversial speculations rather than advancing God's work, which is by faith, which is verse 4. And Paul is challenging Timothy to stay there and to do that difficult work, which is shepherding a church that has wolves against it. And wolves are on the attack. And in asking or charging Timothy to do so, he makes this statement in verse 5. The goal of this command is love, which comes from a pure heart and a good conscience and a sincere faith. The way I look at this verse is Paul's leadership style wasn't selfish. It wasn't looking out for himself, and it wasn't just a leader with an ego. He was so in tune with God's will and God's desire, and especially the shepherding of his people, the church, that he was able to make this comment, that he was able to make the statement in verse 5 that the goal of this command is from a pure heart and a good conscience and a sincere faith. Later on, Paul would charge Timothy. He would back this up again, and he would say, there were prophecies said and spoken about you in the way that you should take this charge. And he's reminding him of the prophecies that actually tie into the charge that he's leading him. And I just started to think, what if our leadership can clearly say that? What if in this political scene that we're in right now, our leaders can say that their comments are coming from a sincere heart, a pure heart, and a good conscience and sincere faith? Christ is calling the church to work, especially in leadership, from a place that we are so rightly connected, so rightly related to God, that the very things that we lead will be able to have those three elements. They should be able to have a sincere faith. We should be able to have a clear conscience, and they should also come from a pure heart. But we know as we watch the climate, and we know how when we watch the landscape, that's not necessarily our candidate's perspective on things. But the world is looking to Christians to be that example. So as you step into this political season, as you wrestle with issues, I would just encourage you to camp out at 1 Timothy 1:5 and see if your choices, if your leadership has those three elements: a sincere heart, a sincere faith, a good conscience, and a pure heart. Not just what you think and what you feel and what you believe, but can you lead with those three elements? Paul was able to lead in these three elements in Timothy's life. His spiritual child, he was able to lead in that way. And he would later say, follow me. I'm an example. Follow me as I follow Christ. So I pray that as you enter your week this week, as you deal with people at work, in ministry, at home, that you can filter your decisions, filter your responses through the filter that Paul did when he was charging and leaving Timothy with a command. So I encourage you this week to be blessed, to stay close to the Lord, keep a short account with Him, and we look forward to seeing you in the seats or online this Sunday. Thanks.